Are you wondering how to seamlessly integrate Matterport plus Shopify or Matterport plus WooCommerce? How to enhance brand identity with custom menus, matter tags, and billboards? Or how to add interactive design elements for marketing events that include gamification, virtual staging, and live streaming paired with Matterport? To find out, stay tuned. Hi all, I'm Dan Smigrod, founder of the We Get Around Network Forum. Today is Thursday, August 25, 2022, and you're watching WGAN TV live at 5. We have an awesome show for you today. Transform your retail experiences in Matterport spaces powered by L2. And here to talk to us about that is L2 Chief Operating Officer Danny Ng and L2 Business Development Kelly Zhang. Hey, Danny. Hey, Kelly. Thanks so much for being on the show today.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
And just to point out that your website, l2vr.co, so if people have questions while they're watching the show, l2vr.co. Danny, Kelly, before we jump into seeing some amazing integrations that are possible as a result of the Matterport partnership with L2, Danny, how about telling us a little bit about the big picture of L2?
Okay, thank you, Dan. Let me have a short introduction about L2. We are a virtual experience solution provider in Hong Kong. We have been working on boosting up the potential of a space. We dedicate to enable any space visitors to have a dynamic view of the virtual space by providing powerful and easy to use tools along with interactive features. We provide a lot of features to build 3D virtual space and also provide tailor-made solutions to our clients, including both indoor and outdoor spaces.
Awesome. Well, Danny, I think I'd love to jump into a demo to see the L2 solutions paired with Matterport. Kelly, how about taking us through some example integrations? I think you were going to start with seamless shopping.
Sure.
Yes. I'm going to share my screen. Is that okay? Yeah, so just a brief introduction before I start. So this Shopify integration solution is basically connect the Matterport space with the Shopify store. So it is a very easy to build process. So what you need to do is just to add any products to your Shopify store, and then go on our platform and add the Matterport space ID, and you see the following.
Awesome. Let's take a look at the front end of what a Matterport tour looks like with the shopping experience paired with the Shopify engine.
So this is one of the demo sites, and there were a few ways of doing it. I'm demoing on our end. So this is you can see that l2vr.co is our main site, and then this is the project link that we built for one of our clients. And in this project, you can see clearly that here on the right side, you can browse all the categories, and all these categories are automatically imported to our project from the Shopify store. So it is automatically import. A process is just like a five seconds process, and you get this done. And then when you go to any category, you will find, like, for example, stationery, you will find all the things like product information here, the price, the description, and yeah, one of these, like, for example, is mode. And if you found anything interesting, you can add to the shopping cart. And you see the number change in the shopping cart.
Yes. Now, I saw when you clicked on the menu, that presumably was one way to sort. But if I was walking around the store through the Matterport tour, Do I click on a Matter tag?
Yes, you can click on the meta tag. For example, this one, right? It's like the foil balloon bouquet, and you found it, and then you want to add to cart. And now you see that there are like 3 items in the shopping carts because I added one before. And now you see that there are 3 items in total. And if you go check out, it would direct you to the Shopify store here. And here you can see, you can just continue for the payment process, and it's just so easy for the user to use because you just need to go to the Matterport space and then shop and then put it into the shopping cart, and then it will redirect you to the Shopify store. So there is another way of doing it, is that you embed the entire Matterport space to your site. Like for example, this is the Shopify store, right? And so here is an embedded site, which I just showed you. So it was the L2VR.co project embedded in this Shopify store. So on the outside, you are still able to browse all the items like in a traditional way, but there is another way that you can show your audience, is that you use this Matterport space. So when they go into the site, they can just do what I just do, and then, you know, put everything into the shopping cart. For example, you can also use the search function here. Let's say I want to buy a hand pump here. And then I see this highlighted, right? And then I can continue with the shopping experience. But yeah, but of course, like it all depends on how you use the site, because like if you embed it into the site with like this iframe, you can make it larger, so it's easier for the user to use. But this is basically this site.
So awesome. So this is a great example of Matterport plus Shopify equals e-commerce or online shopping. I see that that's the Matterport tour that I'm completely familiar and used to with all the action items in the existing Matterport tour, the bottom left, the bottom right, the top left. There are 3 icons. So you showed us in the top right, you showed us the shopping cart, you showed us the search function, you showed us the menu. I also see a button in that aquamarine blue button in the middle of an arrow, top right. So I'm just wondering what that arrow is.
That arrow is basically a sharing function.
Okay, great. So if I wanted to send that item to my wife and have her look at it before I got permission to buy it, I could do that.
Exactly. And also you can do, like when you share it, it's actually sharing the location as well. So it's not just sharing the link, but with the location.
Can I see that?
Here. So I was just sharing the same location. Let me try
Oh, you went, right. You went fast. I'm not that quick. So you clicked on the share. You then grabbed, in that case, you decided to go, but you could have just copied that link and then, or I could have copied that link and then sent that as an email or text to my wife.
Exactly.
Okay.
So now you're seeing that it jumped to the same location.
So in our world of Matterport, that's a deep link that you've taken people back to, so that it was the exact view or the exact product that I was looking at.
Yeah, exactly. If you're seeing my screen, they're exactly the same location. So it works on all the projects on our platform. So if you create it on our platform, you have this share function. It's basically sharing your current location.
Okay, so while we're looking at this screen, you shared with us that this is a integration of Matterport plus Shopify. If this was Matterport plus WooCommerce, would this screen look any different?
It would be very similar. It's the same design. And the integration way is, I mean, the integration we have already done. And then the way for the user to use it on our platform is very, very similar. It's just like how you import the token. We will touch that a little bit later when we talk about the back end.
Okay, great. So for our viewers, stay tuned because Kelly and Danny will take us on a back end tour so that you can see exactly how Matterport plus Shopify, for example, gets integrated on the back end, how to create the menu on the right side. Was there anything else before we move on to the next topic? Was there anything else in terms of shopping that you wanted to show us on the front end?
On the front end is pretty easy process. It's just like this. Yeah, later on, I'll explain a little bit more about how to create this thing. But it's not a total, like, we've done a lot of automation on our platform, but there are still something that you need to, like, for the user to add on the Shopify side. For example, you need to add the products just as usual. And then we will have like a full menu. Let me show you the menu.
Okay,
So
well, let's stay on the front end, and then we'll cover this when we get to the back end. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, so I think the next up was enhanced brand experience.
Yeah, so for that, I need to show you one video that we have already posted on the forum as well. But I would like to just have like a short introduction for this because it's more easy to have like a video.
Okay, do you want to make that full screen? Great, thank you.
Yeah, so just a brief introduction here because this video includes a lot of customized solutions, and the main part is the brand identity. You will see a lot of examples here. So I'm going to start and then I'll explain it a little bit later. So the part we just demoed was all like for retail industry. As you can see, there were a lot of like examples. For example, I'll go back a bit.
Yeah.
So for example, like this store is built for one luxury brand in Hong Kong. And so if you can see that like this is Matterport space, and then there is a customized menu there. And then you can also like customize the About Us page here, and then, have like different billboard and Matterport. Like, for example, like all these meta tags have been like, it's only 80% of the size of the original meta tag. So it's not the same meta tag that you use the Matterport console to add. So you can actually customize your Matterport, the meta tags on our platform as well. But these are all like customized solutions, and then we will customize it for you according to your request, right? So for example, if you want this icon to become like a shoe or bag, we can do that as well. So it's all customizable.
So for clarification, you showed, yes, you showed us this banner. So to get to that banner was clicking on one of those custom matter tags in
Exactly.
front of that particular blouse.
Yes, exactly. So this is a customized meta tag, like we call it billboard, right? It is a customized billboard, but if you use a standard form of meta tag, and you don't have that, right?
Yes,
So
I think for the purpose of our show, you can really assume that our audience is totally familiar with everything Matterport. So what you're showing is, whoa, that is awesome, because that billboard is not possible to do with the Matter tag native to the Matterport platform. What we're seeing is only possible because of the deep integration of L2 as a Matterport partner, adding this enhanced overlay and integration, because it's actually shopping with Matterport. So it's kind of the combination of L2 plus Matterport equals Matter tags on steroids with this banner integration.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So there were a few more examples here, right? For example, this one, and you can see it is like fully customized to their own theme, right? So it's the entire page, it shows like very differently. So this is what we call the brand identity, especially for those luxury brands. And, you know, they don't want like standard meta tag. So they want like everything customizable. And so this is the solution we provide for them. And so we also, you know, like for Chinese users, we can also provide the solutions on the like WeChat program. The WeChat, you know, there is like they have like a totally different ecosystem, you know, to post the store. I can pull up another example for you here. It's a very similar. I need to switch the screen for a bit. So
yes, and I'm hoping you'll also show us that side-by-side demonstration. That was really awesome. I could imagine where someone might want to show a different phase of Matterport, where you're looking at, this is before the drywall goes in, and now here the drywall is in. So you could actually say, oh, I'm looking at this wall. What's behind it? What's all the electrical plumbing, you know, behind this wall, and then have that side-by-side view. So that was pretty interesting. I'm hoping you'll show us that too.
Yeah, I'm trying to show you another screenshot. So, because it's on the mobile phone. So this version is only available on the mobile phone. It's a project that we built for China, for Louis Vuitton China. Okay, so I'll show you. Let me share the screen first. So you can see it here. Is it clear?
Yes, Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, this is actually on the mobile phone. So I recorded it. You can see that it is actually on the WeChat mini program. So when you log in the mini program, you see a landing page, right? And then when you go on to explore, click, so that means explore more in Chinese. And then you will be, yeah, you will be entering this page, right? So like including this kind of loading page, it was built by our company.
By L2.
By L2, yes, exactly. So, and then we click the Matterport space, you see that there is a general instruction here, and this is actually a very traditional Matterport space, but we have built a lot of different things on top of it. You can see this is a customized product list, right? And then when you scroll down the product list, there are different product items, and you see it's all like customized, all those like brand information. And then you can even jump to the mini program that is already integrated. So it's seamless. You can see how smooth that experience is. So first, you click on a product tag, and then the product tag will lead you to this page, right? This mini program page to complete the purchase, right? If you want to complete it, you can just click whenever, and then you can jump back to the tour as well. And then you will go back to, if you jump back to the tour, you go back to the original place where you were at and in the Matterport tour. So a lot of people, when they see this site, they couldn't believe that it's a Matterport site because it has been like so differently made. For example, like you can see the menu here, there's like product, and here is like an auto navigation, and here it is a like a motion detection. So there are a lot of different functions we have already integrated.
But is motion detection, is that where I would just rotate my body and I could be as if I was looking in the store, or is that a VR experience, or both?
No, it's the first one you mentioned.
The motion. So
Yes.
I can actually be looking at, let's say, an iPhone or an iPad and twirl around and it be as if I was standing in the store. But
Yes.
that's with Matterport, and I don't think we've seen that with.
This is only available on the mobile version, right?
Yes.
So it means that if you're holding your phone, and then you can just, tilt your phone to like rotate your phone to different directions and then to view the tour. So it's a little bit different. If you turn it off, it would be just like you just drag and draw, like doing all those like tap and drag.
Yes, I what you're describing is an awesome integration. I don't believe I've seen any other motion integration like that from any other Matterport partner. That ability to just really rotate my body and see as if I was in the store.
Yeah, it's not like for the body. It's basically like rotate your phone, and then you can see it like on that way.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
but if you need to like move forward, you still need to tap a little bit, but it's just a little bit different. Some people like that kind of function, so it's basically for different users, right? Some people
I like it. I couldn't understand why I haven't seen that in Matterport. There's 170, 180 plus 3D, 360 virtual tour platforms and software, and many of those other platforms offer that feature. So I was surprised not to see that implemented with Matterport. So I'm super excited to see that L2 has done that integration with Matterport.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, here you can just, just a button, and then it's actually a very standard feature on our platform. So anyone can use that feature if they want. So this one is integrated to the tour, and also, there is a standard product list, and then there is a, like, for example, here you can see at the bottom of this screen, you can see that it says like there are actually a different function. For example, if I stand at a certain point of this tour, I can show, okay, what's in front of me. So like display an area and its name. For example, here in this example, you're seeing like Malé Vendôme, right? So this is another area that I'm going to. So if I click to that area, I would jump to that area too. So all these like previews and all these arrows, like little designs are, were built by us, but yeah, of course, the design team from our client are helping a lot as well.
Yes, I want to just pause for a moment, and I think what I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, is that L2 at a high level offers two kinds of solutions. One solution is it's the off-the-shelf, it's the standard features that L2 offers to anyone that's using the L2 platform. The second solution, I think what I'm hearing is, and if you want custom development work with Matterport integration, L2 can do that as well.
Exactly.
So that's very exciting. So if there's a solution that you're happy with that L2 offers within its dashboard of solutions, then great. But if you ever scratch your head and go, gee, I wish I could do this with Matterport, L2 is doing that now with existing clients. Happy to have that conversation with you. It's probably worth pointing out is that, if you have a specific question, you can either go to l2vr.co or actually send those kinds of questions to support at l2vr.co. Kelly, was there more that you wanted to show us on this smartphone integration?
Yeah, I just want to touch a few more points. It's basically a customized solution that you can have your own menu, you can have your own design, you can have your own icons, and more than that, you can like integrate like whatever part you want for your tour. For example, this is like it is combined with Matterport tour, and then it's also like combined with some static photo tour as well. And then, so for example, this is if the users wants to browse something different, like we can have that. Like for example, these are different from the Matterport tour. But yeah, so basically we offer like one-stop customization solution for the retailers. So I think this is important for the retail brands to market their products, and also you have this different types of experience for the users to try out in the 3D space.
Awesome. You showed us some customization with matter tags, with billboards, with over-the-top integration. Were there other examples within custom branding opportunities? I had mentioned the split screen. What other features would you like to show us within this branding opportunity?
I think that's all that we want to demo because we still have like a lot of features to cover, and I know that it's like 50% of the time is gone. Yeah, but I believe that we are pretty, even we are not the only one, but we are probably one of the few providers that can do mini program integration as well.
Okay.
WeChat, because it's very different.
Okay. Are you able to demo this side by side or not today?
Not today because it's the device is not that ready.
Okay. All right. So you teased me. I'm excited about it, but I'll have to come back to l2vr.co and check when that feature is available, which is actually super exciting, which is, I want to say two different Matterport tours side by side in the same place, but at different times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, cool. What else do you want to show us?
Yeah, so we have touched, so we have like other features that is popular too. So one of which is actually for large retailers or maybe like, for example, like shopping malls. And that is one of our very unique features in the market. We call it 3D navigation, right?
Yep.
So
3D
3D navigation.
3D navigation.
It's basically you generate a route, and then it's like if you are on Google Map, if you search a destination, and then you can go from one point to the other. But all these are can be realized in a Matterport tour. That's what we're doing.
Okay, so it sounds like you're going to show us augmented reality meets Matterport powered by L2.
Yep.
I wouldn't use those big words, but
all right.
yeah,
well, let's see what you got, and then I'll see if I can come up with some other bigger
exactly.
words.
Sure. Thank you. I'm going to jump to here.
Actually, this algorithm is built by us, and no matter how many POI within an entity or a property, where we can build those POI as one of the destination to be reached.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I think what I'm hearing, no matter what you want, we can build it. No matter what you want, L2 can build it.
Yeah.
Well, it's anything like Matterport related, I would say.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to share the screen again.
Okay.
So I'll go on like a more in-depth integration with the robot first, and then I'll lead you to the 3D navigation site. So Dan, tell me what you see here. Do you understand like how it works, like for this feature?
Well, I'm a marketing person that's kind of geeky. I'm not a programmer, but I think what my sense of what this was is that L2 did a Matterport tour of the mall, and then did some kind of connection from the real world to the metaverse, to the virtual world. And therefore, once I scanned that QR code of where I wanted to go in this mall, I now could just hold up my phone and follow a line to get there. And in this case, I could probably either follow the robot or I could just scan the QR code, hold up my device and walk through the space where it's helping me navigate to get there. And that seems pretty intuitive. There's that dotted, follow the yellow brick road, we might say, of that dotted line. And as I hold up my phone and I walk, it's keeping me on that straight and narrow path to get to where I want. And I love that because in my shopping experience, I don't wander. I have a destination in mind, but I never know where that destination is when I go to the mall. So I really do love the fact that the robot would approach me. I could point to where I wanted to go and then transfer that walking experience to my phone to get there. Am I describing it what you were hoping that I would see?
It's 100% correct. So yeah, what you described is definitely like is what we wanted to show the user. So so this is because in indoor navigation, sometimes even if you use Google Map, it's not that accurate, right? Because if you are indoors, so a lot of like GPS signals are actually blocked. So Matterport is actually not an alternative solution, to compensate that kind of I won't say deficiency, but it's just like a maybe something that the user may need, but it's not like available in the market or not the perfect solution in the market, right? So this can be a alternative solution that because it's very intuitive for a person to use Matterport Tour. It's because it's 100% real time, like you see the shop and it's the same shop and as on your phone, right? So that's very intuitive that you can just follow the route because you are seeing it and by your eye. So your eye is the best like detector for that.
Yeah, it totally made sense to me. I mean, it felt very intuitive. I would say probably three things for those that are watching our show today. Like, okay, that was interesting seeing that robot do something, but like, what should my takeaway would be? I think I see three things. One, if you're a Matterport service provider and you have clients that have large spaces that need help navigation, there's a solution for that of L2 plus Matterport plus you and your client. Second is if you are if you have a need for a robot, well, that's interesting because it sounds like L2 could actually help you with the robot integration that you just saw. But I think three, the takeaway is you don't need the robot. You literally could go up to the kiosk that every mall has that has signage, and presumably there's a QR code that gets added to each of those stores, and you scan the QR code for that store and off you go in terms of how to get to where you're going. I think what's happening here, because I do think of it as augmented reality, as AR meets Matterport meets a physical space. And that part may not be intuitive to everyone, but I think I would describe that, well, it's, if you know how to do a Matterport scan or how to buy a Matterport scan from a Matterport service provider, that's all you really need is that scan. And then you work with L2 and they'll explain what steps are necessary in order to map the physical world to the virtual world of that Matterport, so that when the QR code gets scanned, the magic happens of going from point A to point B. Is that an accurate way to summarize that?
Yeah, it's not totally AR, but yeah, it's basically, fundamentally what you were describing is correct. I'm going to show you the demo site so that it's easier. It's actually a live site. We just scanned it a few days ago.
Do you call that a different solution? Is that, I want to say L2 3D?
Navigation.
L2
3D navigation.
Yes.
Okay, so if you're watching this segment and you say, I'm interested in that, and you email support at l2vr.co, you should say, hey, I'm interested in L2 navigation, and that'll help connect the dots.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. So I'm going to share my screen again. So to show you this site, so it's a fresh site and it's pretty huge in Hong Kong. We just scanned it. And we just built this this feature for the property as well, right? So on the left side, you can see the menu of different destinations. So it doesn't have to be a robot, right? So as you mentioned, it can be a robot solution, but it can be just like a total virtual solution, right? So when you click on any destination, you can see there are different ways for you to do it. And there's another way we can build as well as a virtual robot guide, right? So that is totally possible that we have a virtual robot leading you the road. And then if I choose auto move, and then I know okay, from here to RV8, where I need to go, right? So it's very intuitive. And especially for these kind of large properties, and it's just in one complex, it's so here we arrive in RV8 at the destination. So it's necessary for people to save their time in exploring in a large space. If it is scanned by Matterport, then our solution is ready to help you with that.
Okay, and I did hear you said it so quickly, but I'm fascinated by it, and it sounds oh so cool as a metaphor that there actually could be an avatar inserted into the experience. So rather than following the line, I could follow, maybe it's an avatar of Kelly, maybe it's an avatar of Danny, maybe it's some other avatar, and literally just well, of course, this is your guide that's helping you get to that space.
Yeah.
Love it.
Exactly.
And even talks to you directly.
And talks to me.
It's just you can design different dialogues for the robot to speak to you. So for example, if a client, they want to have provide a very customized service, they want the robot to say certain things in the tour, then it can all be designed in the program.
So I imagine that might be even a trigger. So if I was in a particular space, as I stepped onto a particular Matterport scan,
Mhm.
that might be the trigger for the avatar to say something.
Yeah, I can show you one video for that maybe.
Okay.
Or maybe I'll share in the forum a little bit later.
Okay, that sounds great. So what Kelly says is she's going to share in the We Get Around Network forum, WGANforum.com. If you go to the forum, there's a search box and just search for l2vr.co and it'll pop up content.
Yeah, it's maybe just like a simple show because I know
Okay.
that we're running out of time, so I didn't want to.
Okay,
So this is like a robot. And
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
so if you arrived at a destination, it would tell you you have arrived at a destination. If you are too far, you know, like, and then you will have like something, take your time, I'll wait, and then you follow and then you go, you know.
Okay, I was browsing the next stores.
Yeah, it's just like very responsive. So it's
Okay.
all can be like customized to your needs.
All right, good. What else would you like to show us?
I think now it's time for us to introduce a little bit about the back end because I know that
Cool.
the time,
Well,
you know, we only have like 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, I'm not in a rush, so I'd love to do the back end, but I think I want to ask you, even before you do your back end, Kelly, you know, maybe
Mhm.
go back to Danny and say, you know, you gave us kind of a brief introduction of L2, but is there more that you want to tell in terms of a story, perhaps even, you know, why L2 decided to become a Matterport partner and to do integrations? You know, were there some problems or challenges that you were trying to serve for existing clients? What else can you tell us about L2 before we jump into the back end demo?
Yeah, so the story is we were actually, you know, served for like property management service. So so we provide like our background is like security, software management, and you know, like installation services. You know, we have our own like software house to provide to those like property management service, you know, like different types of service. And then, you know, and for property management service, they have like different needs, and then we got to know Matterport, and then we built some in-house solution, you know, just for ourselves at the beginning. You know, oh, okay, so this is interesting. And then we found out that, okay, there are actually more needs in the market. You know, the users and probably need more features on top of Matterport. So that's how we started.
Yeah,
So
actually, just like what Kenny showed, the property outdoor, which is a new property being built by our mother company. So we provide this kind of service support to our mother company, like collaboration. And also, you know, in property management, we have a lot of usage of Matterport like defect management. Just like new received buildings or apartments, we can make use of Matterport to shoot the whole apartment and to indicate the defects location, and we can put it as a kind of icons on the menu, and the user can click it to reach to those defect location and to inform the related departments to resolve those problems. So we do this kind of stuff to help our user more easier to get rid of some problems.
So I think what I'm hearing also, Danny and Kelly, is because you of the history of L2 working as property managers, presumably, is that for sale and for lease of properties?
That will be our mother company. So we are providing different services for our mother company as well, you know, internally.
Yes. So that led to, oh, well, we should be doing Matterport scanning to help lease properties, to help sell properties. Oh, well, we're doing Matterport, but we feel like we're missing some features. We're pretty tech savvy. Let's just go build those solutions internally. in order to solve real world problems for our existing clients that have properties that we're managing. And then that was like almost sounds like a light bulb moment to say, oh, well, these solutions would be appropriate for other businesses that are using Matterport just like we are.
Yeah, exactly that.
In terms of shopping, is there a sweet spot for the kinds of clients that would like to use the L2 plus Matterport integration?
Yeah, there were actually a lot of use case, for example, like schools, museums, especially, we have on our platform, there's a feature called synchronized move. And that is how we started actually, because in real estate market or, in those for schools, museums, convention centers, there's a need for people to virtually see the space, right? But what is the best way to see the space? When you're in pandemic, you cannot go to the sites, physically. And then, so we have this called synchronized move feature on our platform to start with, and then you can just scan a QR code, and then the tour guide would guide you through the process, but you're only seeing it on your phone, simultaneously. So it's all everything is sync, and it's just like you are on the site physically.
I'm confused. Is that with a live person as well?
You can do it so one of our clients would do it for example with Zoom or other integration, so that they can actually, so it's not just I am leading you on the site, right? I'm not just showing you a video, but you can actually feel it on your phone where I am going. So I don't have to just tell you okay, this is the kitchen. So it's not a one-way thing, it's a two-way, it's more interactive. I can show you a little bit later when we talk about the back end feature.
Okay.
And that will be that would give you a more intuitive.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
It sounds like we've covered the front end, and now we were going to go take a little bit of the back end.
Yes. On the back end side, we can only demonstrate what the standard features are, because all the customized solutions are going to be built in-house. So we will present you with the entire effect after we build it. But I can show you what we do on the
that would be great, because there is a ton of different solutions that are part of the L2 library of tools that can be implemented today as part of the L2 suite.
Yes, thank you. So let me share the screen again.
Okay.
So here, let's type our. So this is our platform.
Okay, you went to the l2vr.co. You went to the website again, l2vr.co.
Yeah, if you have any questions, you can always contact us through email. And if you want to register on our platform to start with the 14-day free trial, you can click here to register or log in. So I've already logged in my account here, and this is the user interface you are seeing, right? So if you want to add any new projects, very easy, just click this button, and then you'll be able to see different features here. And then there is basic features, and then we have Shopify, brand menu, hunting game comparison, shopping cart, synchronized move, all these basic features. So since we were talking about a synchronized move, I'm going to do this demo, so it's easier. All right, so now I'm going to create a project, and the project is created here, right? Here you see synchronized move as a feature, and you can go to edit tour. So in this tour, there are a lot of basic stuff you can use for. So for example, you have a meta tag list, and then you have meta tag list here. You can actually change your you can change your meta tag icon just by a few clicks, right? It doesn't have to be a round shape. Now it can be any cartoon characters, whatever you want. And so we have like, you can sort your meta tag by image, by text, by distance. And those are just very basic features of ours. So for here, we can have like brand. We can add our brand there, you know, we can do it like left or right, whatever we want. We can add our logo, we can add the background music to the tour. We can have like a basic menu here, like shoes and clothes, we can do it here. And then we can have like a set up a welcome message. So when the user enters the tour, there will be a welcome message showing like have a brief introduction of your space, what they're looking at, right? And then we have like virtual staging that it's very easy to use. You can just insert a 3D model, even a 3D model, an image or a video, or adjust the light of the model. So those are very basic features we offer for every tour if you sign up on our platform. And so since we have selected the synchronized move tour, we can show something here. So if it is a one-to-one tour, you can do video call. But if it is like a one to more, then video call is disabled. You can.
Okay, so video call, I think of that as a live guided tour where on my smartphone, tablet, laptop, desktop, I see both the Matterport tour and I would see you.
Yeah, so Dan, do you have your phone with you? So
I do.
You do, you can try to scan this QR code.
Okay.
When you're done, you can let me know.
Okay. Got it.
So are you in the tour?
I am connected by LTE at the moment. So I know I'm on this set, but I am in a spot that I may not have connectivity. It's coming up slowly for me.
Okay, so I didn't see you are connected because if you are successfully connected, it should show 1. So basically this is like, it will be synchronized like when I move, and then it will you will see the same thing on your phone. So you'll be moving on your phone, right?
Yeah,
so,
I just have a couple bars on my phone, and I think that's my challenge. But the tour is actually coming up. I think if I was a normal person with normal Wi-Fi and not with barely a bar on my phone, that I would be able to see you taking me through the demo. But I get it that it was as easy as scanning the QR code and boom, I'm on my mobile phone.
Yeah, you can scan the QR code, or you can like, let's say you're not using like desktop, you're just using your mobile phone, right? And then I can just share a link. So it's equivalent. You can either scan the QR code or you can share a link, right?
Okay, so I'm in the tour now. Was there something that you wanted me to do while I was there?
You don't need to do anything. It's basically like synchronized move. The feature is like when I go, and then it's you move at the same time on your phone as well, right? So in this case, you're seeing what I'm seeing. So let's imagine that a real estate agent is calling you. Okay, I'm going to show you this thing, but I'm going to share the link with you. And now I'm moving to the kitchen, right? And you see the kitchen. And now I'm moving to the bathroom, and you see the bathroom as well. So it's basically that. Instead of like describing over the phone, like with the 2D image, like it's now different with the Matterport tour.
Yeah, I'm in the tour, and yeah, so I'm totally got it.
Yeah.
Do you want to take us? Were there more things that you wanted to show us on this dashboard, or did you want to go into the Shopify integration?
The Shopify integration, it's we can do it's very easy actually. So we actually provide some setup workflow for you. So when you need to build a tour, so we will need a few things like So the preparation would be, we need the store owner's URL and then storefront access token, and that's all we need, right? And then like you can add the modify the products in Shopify store, and then just add the meta tags for the products on Matterport, and then assign locations for the product categories on L2VR.co. And just like that, it's very, very easy. But we need to do a lot of automation behind the scene, right? So that the user, it's easy for the user to use. For example, this tour, I have imported some category already. You know, it's for import this, as I mentioned, you just need one URL and one storefront access token, which you can fetch it from the Shopify console. You will have those information for you already. And then so yeah, after you import you have those two information, your categories would be available here, right? It's
So a couple questions on this.
Mhm.
Once the Shopify integration is done with the Matterport tour,
Mhm.
so I think I heard maybe 3 steps there, which was what's my Shopify store, what's my unique token, and then I need to add matter tags to the space. I presume there's some place in the dashboard which says, here's how I assign this matter tag to this product.
Yeah, exactly. So you will add different products here, and then you can link those products.
Okay,
right?
great. And then I think the other question I had on this Shopify integration is, I presume that, or I'll ask the question differently. So let's say that we actually go to a particular product, and if that product is no longer in the Shopify platform,
it will
sold
be
out,
synced
what
automatically.
happens?
So it will be synced automatically, but you probably would it would be synced automatically. Whatever tags you add in the Matterport tour, it will be still there, but you just have like disconnect the link between the product and the meta tag.
Well, let me ask it differently. If the product is sold out, it's going to tell me to say, I'm sorry, that product's not available.
Oh yeah, that will be showed up in your shopping. When you check out, you will see that it's not available. So there is no more, it's not available in the stock.
Okay, so just like Shopify, I can't buy something that is not in stock.
Yeah, exactly. So when you check out, you will see that flag on your shopping cart.
Okay, good. Are there other things on the back end that you wanted to show us, Kelly?
No, really. So this is very easy because we have done a lot to automate the process to make it easy for the user. So if you have like Shopify store, you can just link your Matterport space with it. As simple as that.
Can you take us back to the main menu on the L2VR.co dashboard? Yeah, and so
one, right? This one?
If we go back to the main menu, so and if we go up to the very top, so
yeah, here, right? Can you see my screen? Hello?
Did I get disconnected? Kelly, are we in the projects view right now?
Yep.
Yeah, like, do you want me to show you the project page or just this main page?
Well, not just yet. I just want to see what's up at the top. So projects, pricing, I can find out the pricing on the accounts, help, my account. Okay, that makes sense. And then can you point out, if you just pick one particular so I see. So if I'm looking at the different items, I say, okay, the top left one is Shopify, then is synchronized move, then synchronized move. There's base. Are these where I go implement those features, or are these projects that have already been implemented?
So every time when you create a new project,
Ah.
you select the feature here, right? So
Ah.
you can select the feature that that is suitable for you.
Okay,
So
could you could you select the feature again? Could you just go back to that for a second?
Mhm.
And so I see select the feature. So you covered Shopify
Mhm.
and the brand menu. I see you probably have a couple things in development that I wouldn't see on my side.
Yep.
I see some other things, the hunting game. And is that, I think there's only maybe two things you hadn't showed us, the hunting game and maybe the voice tour.
Voice tour. Yeah.
Do you want to
So-
show us those two either on the front end and or the back end?
I can show the voice tour because this is more popular for people to use.
Okay,
So this is actually one of the very few, few features that we add out for a launch, right? So we launched the voice tour and the synchronized move at the very beginning. So let's say this tour, I'm not sure, let's say English first, right? Okay. Oh, yeah.
and do you have a front end example to show us first, or are you going to take us through creating one and then showing
It's
us?
just very easy to create. So
Okay.
back end is fine too.
Okay,
I'm not sure why I have this tour, but let's try.
okay,
So if I want to create a new scene, then I'll say, like, okay, welcome to the temple, right? For example. And then I can update the text. Right, and it's already updated. I can preview it.
Welcome to the temple.
And this is how it will show in the end, right? And then I can
now
go.
I need help understanding that. Is that at the very beginning of the tour, or are you assigning that voice to a specific Matterport scan?
You can assign to a specific Matterport scan. That's what I'm doing right now. So I just jump to the next scan, and then I would add another thing here. And then I'll just say.
Okay. So forgive me. Let me just see if you're going a little bit fast for me. But the first thing that you did was you moved around the space, identified a scene, and selected that, and now you're assigning words to it.
Yes, exactly. And you can also upload your own voice file as well if you prefer your own voice. Otherwise, it would be like a default computer voice for you.
Okay.
And then update this one. You can say that.
This temple has a long history.
Right. So now, so let's say I will publish it just like that.
Yes.
And
Yes.
share it.
Yes. Okay.
Welcome to the temple. This temple has a long history.
Basically that, and then you create a voice tour already. So it's very useful for like school or museum or convention center, like those sites, right? So this is one of the popular feature as well. People love it. And also you can translate them into different languages if you want.
So let me unpack this, because this is like such a powerful feature. I'm just like blown away. So let me see if I can just from my world as a Matterport service provider talk a little bit about this L2 feature. I can assign text to speech so that both text and speech show up.
Yes.
Yes.
Dan,
And-
I think you were disconnected a little bit.
I think the connection there may be a little bit.
Yes,
Not good.
yeah. Why don't we, I'll take it off screen share at the moment. So I think we have so many things going on with all the technology that we use to do WGAN TV live at 5. We may be a bit overwhelmed here. So the first thing is that I can assign text and speech using text to speech to an individual scan. That is incredibly powerful because I don't have to engage a professional voiceover talent. I can just type out the text, assign it to a scan, and as someone walks through a space, a museum might be the easiest way to explain it. As I stand in front of a painting, it can tell me about that painting. As I walk to the next painting, it'll tell me about the next painting. And I can do that both with text and speech using text to speech. Second, I could add instead an MP3 file. And third, I can do this. I think when you called up the menu, Kelly, I think I saw nearly 24 languages. So we were working in English. Thank you for my benefit, but you could also, if you're a Matterport service provider and your primary language is Chinese, French, German, Japanese,
Yeah, like a lot of main languages we have covered. It's over 15 languages we have covered.
Italian. I want to say it was probably nearly all languages that Matterport service providers, or I don't know, is it fair to say the most popular languages, but the languages that are most used in the world for the most populous locations are covered.
Right.
And if they're not, you can still do the MP3 file upload. But my takeaway on that particular L2 plus Matterport feature is that it's super easy and it's super fast to add text and speech to a specific Matterport scan in order to enhance the Matterport tour. That was my takeaway.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Awesome. Was there anything else on the back end that you wanted to show us?
I think that's all. So because it's hard to cover everything, it would be better for the user to sign up on the platform. If they have any questions, just send us an email. We will respond as fast as we can. So that will be the best to explore the features on our platform.
Okay, I think that the great news is if you go to l2vr.co,
Yes.
you can almost every page says, do you want to sign up for a 14-day free trial? So it's easy peasy to go check out all the different L2 features on your own, particularly the ones that you're interested in. Second, if you have a specific question, you can send an email to support@l2vr.co. And I think the third thing, I think I can make Danny smile if I do this correctly. If you don't see what you want, tell us, because L2 can do whatever you need of Matterport Plus custom development, particularly for e-commerce, for shopping.
Right. Make your imagination come true.
Yeah.
That'll work. Before we say bye, is there, Kelly, is there anything that you feel like, but we didn't cover?
Yeah, so you see that we have like a virtual staging feature, but there are actually more advanced features. I know that maybe not many users, Matterport users, are using that kind of features yet, like the virtual staging, like apply those like 3D models, make them move inside the tour. We have done quite some like applications for those use cases. But today, we are focusing on the retail industry. We're not touching that yet. But I would just want to tell you that there are a lot of like different possibilities, building on top of that, like actually having all those like 3D models or different effects in the tour. We can build a story out of a Matterport space. So there are a lot of imagination possibilities there. Just reach out to us and tell us what you want, and then we try to design a tour for you.
That sounds awesome. Danny, was there anything you felt we didn't cover today?
Perfect. Everything is okay.
And if someone was just tuning in and you wanted to just summarize L2 plus Matterport equals, how would you describe that?
So Matterport, L2 is providing different value-added services for Matterport Tour. So we offer standard features, including synchronized move, voice tour, Shopify integration, features like that. And on top of that, we also provide a series of customization solutions for your tour. So basically, we are going to explore more use case and applications in the Metaverse and hope to make it interesting. So there are a lot of like interactive designs that can be built inside our tour that we can present you like a lot more than you think.
So what I'm hearing is L2, an official Matterport partner, is offering a suite of a lot of integrations today that anyone can use and can go explore by going to l2vr.co, sign up for a 14-day free trial. And there are a ton of integrations that are offered today that don't even require any custom development. But as I think you, Kelly, and Danny has pointed out, if you don't see what you want and it involves Matterport, particularly if it involves Matterport plus e-commerce, ask because L2 does custom development and has been very busy doing custom development for its existing clients. That I want to say you all are Matterport service providers in Hong Kong, and you have existing clients that you've built out solutions. So you have a deep and wide repertoire of skill sets for doing Matterport development on steroids.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. Danny, Kelly, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Dan, for having us on.
We've been visiting with Danny Ng, the Chief Operating Officer for L2, as well as L2 Business Development, Kelly Zhang. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Dan Smigrod, founder of the We Get Around Network Forum, and you've been watching WGAN TV live at